Hi everyone, this is your host Prasha and welcome to her STEM Stories, episode number 103. And today we are celebrating Engineers Week with a very special engineer and entrepreneur. But before we get started, I want to read this week's review of the week, and it's by kg.kritika and it's titled Changed My Perspective. Prasha gave me a positive way to look at something which I saw as my weakness or fear. I truly enjoy her STEM Story podcast. In fact, this is the first and the only podcast I listen to regularly. The interviews help me connect with Wonder Women around the world, fuel me with ideas, and boost me with my aspirations. You go, girl. Thank you so much, Kritika, for such lovely comments. And if you would like me to read your review on the show, make sure to leave us one on any of your favorite podcasting platforms. Today's episode is super special because the guest today is an engineer and I'm an engineer too. Engineering has gotten me into manufacturing, and manufacturing means that I have to wear bulky steel-toe shoes. We talk all about those shoes in this episode, so you will know exactly what I mean. Our guest today has found a solution for exactly that, and in this episode, she shares it all. So let's get started.
Welcome to Her STEM Story, a podcast about real women with extraordinary science, technology, engineering, and mathematics stories. In this show, we'll talk to some absolutely inspiring women and highlight some women-led organizations in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We'll learn more about their work, their struggles, and how they think we can close the gender gap in STEM professions. Keep listening to get inspired.
Our guest today is Anastasia Kraft, CEO and co-founder of Xena Workwear. When Anna moved to the US from Germany, she worked as a project management consultant in construction, manufacturing, and event planning. While she loved working in manufacturing, there was one aspect she truly hated: her bulky and manly steel-toe boots. That made it impossible to dress professionally. After years of frustration, she decided to solve this issue by designing and manufacturing fashionable steel-toe footwear for women so that they can finally dress like the professionals they are in their challenging STEM jobs. Let's talk to Anna to learn more about her STEM story. Hi, Anastasia. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Prasha. Thank you so much for having me. Very excited to share our story.
Yeah, this is so much fun. And first of all, before we get started, I have to say, you have saved my life. Like, it's not even funny how important your product is, because I work in manufacturing in a factory and I wore ugliest shoes for the longest time. And until I found your product, I didn't know how it was affecting me and my confidence. So thank you so much for making my life a million times better.
Thank you so much. I love this feedback. That's so nice and so rewarding. Yeah, we've all been there. Like every woman who worked in manufacturing or construction had to wear ugly boots. The time is over now.
Yeah, and that kind of also brought to my attention how, when we don't have representation, like what that does, over time. Like, why didn't women have shoes? Because someone like you wasn't representing us in that industry. And so this is a great case for diversity across the board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fully agree. We need more women in STEM and the trades, and that's one of our goals with by starting this company. This is my long-term vision, to increase the number of women in STEM and the trades. We just need more role models that will inspire girls to explore these fields as a career. They just don't see enough women in these fields.
Yeah, and also the products like yours, because that's when we're going to make it stylish and we're going to make it appealing, and we're going to make it like, we're going to bring the industry into 2020 and not be stuck in the past, So that's awesome. So tell us a little bit about, first of all, tell us a little bit about where did your story begin and where did you grow up, and kind of a little bit of your background.
Of course, yeah. Right now I live in Milwaukee, but I was born in Kazakhstan, which used to be part of the Soviet Union. lived in Kazakhstan until I was 10. Then my family moved to Germany because my dad had German roots. And I started appreciating the freedom in Germany and the valuing the opportunities women have. Because Kazakhstan is still a very conservative country with a Muslim background that makes it a little bit more conservative, where women don't have necessarily the same rights as men and the same opportunities, I should say. So I was so excited to move to Germany and study engineering. And when I entered my international project engineering program, I found out that I had to go abroad for half a year, and I was very excited to explore a different culture, different country, and practice either my Spanish or my English, and accepted an amazing opportunity to come to Waukesha, Wisconsin for an internship, and that was 6 years ago. And then fell in love with the US, met my husband during that time, and when after I finished my degree, we had to make the decision where to move, and I decided to come here to Milwaukee because I love the city, love the culture, and really love this country and the opportunities we have here. So then I started working as a project management consultant for multiple manufacturing clients. And especially as a consultant, I had to dress professionally. So many people who work in manufacturing can relate to this. You constantly move between a nice conference room to a dirty, dusty shop floor. It's a constant back and forth. And when you're on the shop floor, you need to wear safety shoes, like safety first. You need your safety glasses, earplugs, you need sometimes even your hard hat, and you need safety shoes that have been originally designed for men. And too many companies still apply the shrink it, pink it concept, where they take men's boot, make it smaller, and make it pink. But to be honest, a pink or purple hiking boot does not make me feel comfortable or presenting in a meeting room in front of 20 engineers. So yeah, this company, Xena Workwear, was born out of my own frustration working in the manufacturing industry.
Mm-hmm. That's incredible.
I'm excited.
Yeah, because I love that, you're an immigrant and you had to you have this background of, being in so many different countries and cultures. And you also said that you speak 4 languages. So that's like something that is going to be really valuable in this country where people speak 1 language.
I think Russian was helpful only once when I was planning the FIFA World Cup in Moscow a few years ago. That was the only time when Russian was beneficial.
But it's a skill. Yeah, it's definitely a skill even to learn 4 languages, then also to be able to use them. And I absolutely, again, love the whole moving here just 6 years ago. My God.
Yeah.
That's not even that long ago.
Yeah, and Milwaukee is it's a wonderful and completely underrated city. It was just listed as one of the top 15 cities to visit by Airbnb. It was the number 1 out of 15. I'm like, wow, it's beautiful. And there's a lot of manufacturing here in Wisconsin. And we think that we're in the right location, and we're incredibly grateful for the people we have here who support us.
Yeah, because I was in Milwaukee, I think it was a few months ago, I would say in April or something. And that's why we were there, because all the chemical industry is there, all the big manufacturers and suppliers. And, there's this huge patch on the highway, I don't know what they call it, but they said on that highway, on both sides, it's just bunch of manufacturers. And it's also called, I don't know if it's called that way, but my friend definitely said that it's like the rubber belt. All the rubber manufacturing is there too.
Rubber belt? I've heard rust belt, which is not the best term. But yeah. I didn't know about rubber. Interesting.
Yeah, they said a lot of chemical plants are in that area. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's a term or if she just was referring it to in her own words.
I haven't heard this one before, but that's.
But yeah. Cool. Wisconsin, Milwaukee is just so cool. I've only been there once, but I can't wait to go back. It was just so much fun, and there's so many breweries, and and so close to Illinois. And then I love location-wise, it was really, really nice. So tell us a little bit about growing up in Kazakhstan, and then you said you moved into Germany quite young. How was that, and what got you interested in pursuing a career in STEM?
Yeah. After I moved from Kazakhstan to Germany, I went directly to school and was in class with 30 German kids. And probably my German went that far that I knew how to say hello, goodbye, thank you, and maybe count to 10. But within a year, I learned German, and at some point I was better at German grammar than many of the German kids. So it was very easy for me to learn another language, which I'm incredibly happy about and grateful for. And I could adapt to the culture very quickly. I loved German values, and I think I identify more with the German culture now since I spent most of my life in Germany, the most important part of my life in Germany, and German teachers, German friends. So it was interesting to compare, going back and forth between Kazakhstan and Germany, comparing the opportunities, especially women have. And I was incredibly grateful to live in a country where women are treated with a lot of respect and have a lot of opportunities. But it was still, because I came from a very traditional family, wanted to be a badass and explore STEM. Like everyone said, girls can't do engineering. And I thought, I can. I wanted to get a job that would have a purpose, that I could have a positive impact in the world and be independent. So make enough money that I would not have to rely on somebody else.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
So yeah, I loved my program.
So even in Germany, would you say like there was this hold up on like women? Do you think even Germany has that a little bit atmosphere like that?
A little bit, but not as much as probably in Kazakhstan where I came from. But it's still my family came from the more traditional. They grew up in this very traditional culture where women have very specific roles and have very specific. You select from a very specific selection of jobs you can do or can't do. So I wanted to do engineering and prove everyone.
Yeah. So tell me, did you have a role model growing up? Like, how does someone who is like coming into a new country, like, obviously out of her element a little bit, but also having a traditional family, I'm sure you were a rebel, but at the same time, do you have someone to look up to while you decided to take this path?
I had always friends who pushed me forward. So I'm very grateful for having friends who never told me that I can't do something. I only surrounded myself with very strong people who are pushing boundaries and always supported me with whatever I wanted to do. So I didn't have a specific role model. I definitely didn't have anyone in my family that I could look up to and say, that's exactly what I want to do. But just growing up in this environment and seeing that the other German kids selected all those cool degrees that sounded incredibly challenging and interesting, I thought I was just following my own passions. And I was at that time incredibly passionate about renewable energies and wanted to get a degree in either electrical engineering or mechanical engineering, and ended up having a more broad program that was perfect for me, which included engineering and project management.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like I think you said a really great point there, to surround yourself with really supportive people and like cheerleaders, because a lot of times, we look like we care more about people who don't believe in us, and we don't give enough weightage to the people who do care for us and who do tell us that we're doing great. Like classic example, like parents sometimes are really like supportive, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, and then kids just totally ignore them because they go after like trying to impress this other person who may not be impressed of them. And I think it's so important to surround yourself with. I've learned it later on in my life. But I have like taken note of that when I surround myself with people who believe in me and who are pushing me forward, I make more progress faster than I do if I surround myself with some negativity.
Yeah. How did you make your decision to go into STEM?
Oh, that would take a long time to explain. But yeah, I had role models growing up, but in India it was like either engineering or doctor if you're good in science. So that was it. There was nobody in India. That's why I was asking you this, if that's the case in Germany. But in India, that is never a question of gender. It's just not. It's weird, but it's not. So it's so interesting. It's like if you're smart, you're going into engineering or being a doctor, and mostly women become doctors. Doctors are predominantly women in India, and engineers too. I would say in my chemical class there were many engineers, many girls, and computer science many girls. Mechanical was low in percent of girls, but mostly like electronics, electrical, computer, we would have like 40-60 ratios, like really good. But then that country has a dropout that is higher, after marriage or after having a kid. So
okay,
the
pipeline, drop out not out of college, but drop out of the industry after women get married.
Yeah. Usually when you get married, it depends on how your in-laws, like you really have to ask. Like, so you have to ask if it's okay to work. And a lot of times these professions are chosen because that's the only option. So like a lot of these women don't want to be engineers or don't want to be doctors, but they're forced to be. So when they get a chance to like leave, they like take the first opportunity and leave, because there's not a lot of opportunity to learn or do something else. Like at least it wasn't when I was there. So it was really cutthroat, like in New Delhi and stuff. But I also had some good role models to show off. I mean, to look up to. And so I think you're doing that job for women from Kazakhstan and Germany and America. So you're also like you're paving that path, and I absolutely love that. So tell us a little bit about, because I always wanted to know this. So how did Xena Workwear come about? So you're working in this industry and you're facing these problems. And so tell us a little bit about the inception story of where you said, I'm going to make a shoe. Because I've had that problem. And when I saw it, I was like, why did I never think about it to even fix it? Forget about like finding a product, but even like saying, maybe that's a good problem to fix. So tell me that inception story.
Yeah, I always say that frustration is so close to motivation. And again, as you said, I never, when I did my degree or moved to the US, never planned that I will make shoes someday, safety shoes someday. I'm kind of, worked in this industry for many years, and really I loved my job. I loved working for my clients. I loved the people I worked with. Like, it was mainly male engineers who I helped to guide through project planning process. So we developed plans for multi-million-dollar projects that were incredibly critical. And it was so much fun to do this job and work with the people I worked with. But the issue of safety shoes just came up over and over again. And every time I had to go walk out on the shop floor, I felt like a clown. So I'm comfortable, they're heavy, and I had 2 pairs of terrible boots. And every time this shoe truck came over and they said, Anna, it's time to get your new safety shoes here. Here's a voucher for, sometimes it was 100, sometimes 150. And I said, you know what? I don't need a 3rd pair of ugly shoes, but I will save you the money. And I did a lot of research and couldn't find anything that looked nice and was comfortable and safe. So after a while, I thought, this can't be rocket science, and I want to figure this out. I was playing with the idea to start a business. To give myself a full year to evaluate if I wanted to stay in the corporate world and do my master's in mechanical engineering or electrical engineering, or start a business, but only if I had an idea that I would be incredibly passionate about and that would have a positive impact, like some sort of purpose. Yeah. And I found it in this business, making safety shoes for women that help them to feel more confident. It's incredible the way they make women, not the way they make them look, it's the way they make women feel, because what you wear has a major impact on your confidence, and that has an impact on your performance and the way you enjoy work. And it's just incredibly rewarding to read messages from women and seeing pictures of them wearing the shoes on the shop floor, construction sites, even in their free time at conferences.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing that those are just, I'm telling you, I feel it every single day. And so tell us, how are shoes made? Like, so how do you even start? Like, what do you do?
Yeah. So specifically for safety shoes, I took some time to really understand the American safety standards, which are incredibly interesting. So you have standards in the US, you have European standards, you have CSA, are applicable in Canada. Mexico has their own standards. So it was very interesting to learn about ASTM standards and the needs of specific companies, at least in the Midwest. And then after I had that figured out, I had created a few sketches with a few key measurements, and then I found a freelance shoe designer, had 5 drawings, found a manufacturer who would be open to develop a prototype. And then out of 3 prototypes, 3 designs, we decided to move forward with one. So it took a full year to go through multiple rounds of prototypes, going through testing, finally, when I was happy enough with that design. And then we launched in May of 2019.
Wow, so that's super, super new. That's amazing. And so tell us, like, what would be your advice to a young entrepreneur in STEM who has an idea like this and is looking at an industry which is, phenomenally huge? Like this, like making shoes is not like, it's not like an app. Like, I mean, even app industry is huge, but what I'm saying is it's an actual manufacturing and there's so many components to it.
Yeah.
But what would be your advice?
It's been challenging. Yeah, it's that when you make a T-shirt that is slightly too small or too big, it's not a big problem. If you make a shoe that doesn't fit perfectly, it's a bigger issue. So it's a challenging project, but also incredibly rewarding. So what I would say to women or young girls who want to explore to start a business, I would say the first question is, how passionate are you about this? Is it a real need? Is it a real gap? You have to make sure that you do enough research and find out maybe someone else. I had so many ideas that I wanted to implement, and then did some research, found out, okay, somebody else solved this already. So identifying the gap, identifying the market size, how many people would need it. But then as soon as you identify the gap, you should just make the first step and try it. And different people have different approaches. Some people say you should start talking about it, and that will force you to execute as soon as you start saying, I'm starting a business. So that will kind of make you accountable and will kind of push you to move forward your business and do it step by step. Other people, like this bank's founder, Sarah Blakely, she had a different approach and said, you know what, if I told my family and my friends that I'm starting this business, they would have said, this is a stupid idea. She just started telling people after she had her prototype and even started selling at her patent. And she said, by the way, this is what I'm doing. So it depends on you should know your family, your friends, how supportive they are. For us, it was challenging. We did not have a lot of support. People said, you guys are so stupid. Because we have parents who were raised in the Soviet Union, and they love their safe jobs. And they said, how could you guys give up a safe job and thing as crazy as this? Now, of course, they're incredibly supportive, but we just decided to do our thing. And I knew the market. I knew that there's a need. I have a lot of friends and coworkers who shared the same experience. So yeah, this would probably be my advice. Just go for it and test it out. You will always regret the things that you haven't tried and not the ones that.
And I like that because that's a perfect example. Like there is an audience that is going to support you, and there's an audience that's going to question everything. And if they're too close to you, like your family, is going to make you doubt yourself even more, and it's not going to help you in any way, shape, or form. So what I have found is the middle ground, which is, I'm starting my business soon, and by the time this comes out, it'll be already out. But it's, I'm not making like an actual product or manufacturing, but again, I'm trying to share all that I've learned through interviewing 100 plus women. And I saw the reality of it. Like when people would message me, I felt so bad because these women are just struggling. They're so brilliant, but they just do not know what to do next, or they do not know if they're on the right path. So it was like, it kind of became a big problem because I was like, I need to create like products and services that help these women some way, shape, or form, instead of just, again, sharing a lot of inspiration, but just actually sharing like strategies and goals and like things that they can really do. But anyways, I decided I'm not gonna I'm not gonna tell my husband like the details of it, so he can know that I'm doing it, but there is no, like, we're not talking about it. Like there's no need for anyone, like including my parents or anyone, to know like the details of it. So if this is happening, like pray for me, but that's it. Like we don't want to talk anymore. And I'm not asking for your blessings.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to go for it. Yeah, I know. Every time they ask, like, how's it going? What's new? And I've been working my butt off all week to work on this business, but I would rather not share this.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. So tell me, from meeting all these women, and there are very few women in manufacturing and extremely few women engineers who actually work in manufacturing, if you look at the statistics, right? So tell me, like, from your interaction of working with these women so closely, and I know, I actually have a colleague who told me about, I sent the email about the shoes to everyone because I was so excited to share it. And she got back saying, yeah, I saw her talk at SWE and I already bought them. And so I was like, that's amazing. And I actually shared it with our diversity and inclusion committee. And, I'm like, this is so important. Like, this is something that we don't realize how important it is to keep everyone's morale up and let women be. And I was so done changing shoes all the time and just never being able to wear skinny pants, never been able to wear like regular pants, or just always struggling to find a pant that matches that stupid shoe. And as you said, I've tried them all, the clogs, I've tried the sports shoes, I've tried these they look like boat shoes, everything. I've tried. Gross. Anyways, but tell me, like, I'm interested in learning, like, what's your experience of talking to women who are working in these male dominated fields? What do you think is the biggest issue right now, like, and why we're not being able to bridge that gap?
Okay, so you're talking about the number of women in the. Okay, and I think that is difficult. So men and women have different interests. That's one factor. I think I want to increase the number of women in STEM and the trades. Do I believe that we will get to a 50-50 ratio? Probably not, but we can do much better than what we currently have. It's about 26 to 28% of women in STEM. In STEM, that's just STEM. Yeah. Engineering is even lower, and out of the engineering degrees, we have the largest number of women in chemical engineering because they start off with chemistry and then transition to engineering. So one factor is interest. Another big factor that we talked about already is role models. Women don't see enough role models when they grow up, and for some reason, girls start losing confidence around the age of about 13 to 15, that they can't do math and physics, and somehow that they're not supposed to be good at those things. So this is just a weird thing. And so it's important to catch girls before that age and show them enough examples of successful women in STEM and the trades. to keep them interested in these fields before they make the decision to go to college and select the degree they want to go for. And then once they start working again, it's a male-dominated environment, and it is a little bit more difficult to fit in. What doesn't help is to feel like a clown.
Yeah.
It's already difficult enough to fit into this environment. So if you don't feel your best, this is just, I would say, a small factor that plays a role that you don't enjoy this. When I applied for a new job at some point, I interviewed at the super fancy office in Milwaukee, and I thought, oh, if I get this job, I can wear my stylish clothes. Like, I my business a more professional workwear and feel more confidence instead of feeling like a clown. That was the thought that went through my head, and that was ridiculous to me at that point. I'm like, why am I even thinking of this? But it's fact. I wanted to express my personality and feel like I feel feminine, be the way I am. It's not saying that I wanted to wear pink. Being a woman is you can express it in different ways.
Many different ways. And yeah, I mean, if you want to wear pink, you wear, if you want to go all Bridget Jones, not Bridget Jones, what was her name? I can't remember now. Okay, I confused her. What was her name? Whatever was her name. If you want to be that and be all pink, that's fine too. But you should have space for that. That's for sure. Like, it should be accepted and it should be promoted, or it should be like you can be yourself at work, because I think that's another reason. If you're expected to change, you're never going to bring your full self to work, and you're never going to be like happy.
Yeah, and then there's a factor. I know if you have read the book Lean In, and that applies to me. I mean, not just to women in STEM, talking about the drop-off rate, but apparently if women don't have a position that they're super passionate about, by the time they have the first child, they might not go back to work to the same company or even the same role. Like, you have a higher drop-off rate if women think, oh, I might have a child in 3 years, so I will not accept the next promotion. I will not accept the next challenge because at some point I want to have a child. That's the wrong approach. Like, women should, according to Sheryl Sandberg, you should always go for it. And like, when the time is right, you'll make the decision, and then you'll at least have a job you're excited about when you have the child, and then you will be excited about it to return to work.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's such a complex problem, but I think you're doing such a great job at fixing, one of the very fundamental things, which is, again, if you can feel good about the way you dress up, if you are able to express your full feminine self, and you're just again, you're not asking a lot. If you think about it, like, men don't even notice it. So what happened was, I'm wearing those shoes for like months now, and I love it. And
so am I. I just took one of mine off to show them.
Yeah.
So I wear them nonstop.
Yeah, they're dark, like they're black, because we have carbon black where I work, so they're completely, the sole is like totally black at the bottom, and that's fine, but it looks so good still. And somebody said, oh, these are not safety shoes, and I'm like, no, they are. And so he called the safety manager, and then I'm like, he checked it, but what I noticed was that guy was one of the only people who noticed it, but all this time, like, nobody even noticed it. But the way I felt, it was incredible. Like, I was strutting through the floor, and I was talking to everyone. I was like, yeah, I'm so happy. And I'm just like super excited that I can wear anything.
I love this.
It's so cool. And you're right, I can wear them anywhere. So when I go on business trips, like even when I go to like factories somewhere else, I don't have to worry about carrying 2 pairs or, just like changing out of them. And it's like always great to see the reaction. Oh, those are safety shoes? And I'm like, yes. And they're really nice. And you should get them too. So before we let you go, tell me, first of all, I have 2 more questions. But first of all, tell me, what would be that one big takeaway from your story for our listeners?
Probably the biggest takeaway is that with an engineering degree, you can do anything. No, actually, yeah. Being an engineer, you learn how to solve problems. You learn how to open a book at a library or use the internet. And surround yourself. If you're not a specialist, and I'm not even a specialist in engineering, I have a very broad degree. I know how to surround myself with people who have the answers to my questions. So anything is possible. We live in a country where you have so many opportunities. So use those opportunities and do whatever makes you happy. And that would be probably my final.
I love that because I think engineering is so interesting, and you can use it in any way, any place in your life. That's just, it's a better way of solving problems. And then also like how to use data, how to read data, not just collect it, how to make critical decisions with that data and not just stop at data. And absolutely like incredible how everything that we do in engineering affects day-to-day life. And I think that was one of my biggest reasons to become an engineer, is because I used to watch this show called How It's Made. And that's the reason I was asking you how shoes are made, because I was like, I'm so curious, because we just don't realize everything that surrounds us was in a factory once. And it's just incredible, like that, what it takes to build this world and how many people are involved and how complex it is.
For sure. Yeah. If anyone will ever be interested in the details of the manufacturing process of shoes, I'll be happy to talk about it. From the last to the final shoe.
Well, yeah, when I come to Milwaukee, you'd have to tell me more about it.
Yeah, we'll schedule another interview.
Yeah, that's for sure. So, and then before we let you go, tell me your favorite book, if you have one.
Oh, okay. I should find probably the next one. Oh, can I say two? Lean In, of course, number one. It's just incredibly good. And Good to Great. For larger businesses, Good to Great is amazing.
Awesome. No, Lean In changed my life too. So I'm with you on that. I know people have some issues with some concepts that she mentions, but then people have issues with everything nowadays. So we're not going to address it. I think every book has so much to offer. And it can be interpreted in so many different ways just because of the perspective and the lens that we look at it through.
Exactly. There's so many opinions, but does it still add value to anyone who will read it? Yes. It's not maybe not perfect, but it definitely adds value.
Yeah, and the best part about books is if you read them at different times of your life, you're going to get different things out of it because you're looking for different things. That's awesome. So tell us where we can find you and how people can buy these incredible shoes. We'll also share the links in the episode notes, but tell us where we can find them.
Of course, yeah. So if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, my name is Anastasia Kraft with K. If you want to find our beautiful shoes, I'll go to XenaWorkwear.com, Xena with Xena. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. We're on social media. And if you have any questions, just connect with me on LinkedIn or give me a call there's a phone number on the website and an email address. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions.
That's amazing. And thank you so much for sharing that and also for supporting Wonder Women in STEM last year.
Yeah, that was so cool. I look forward to next year. I love your work. This really has been amazing.
Thank you so much. No, it's because of brands like yours and people like yours so that was super last minute, the way we planned it, the way I planned it. And it was one of those things, I'm doing it and I'm done convincing people because I don't think anyone wants to work. I want to, so I'm doing it. And then I just send you guys a note and, I send a few people notes and I'm like, maybe we'll get sponsorship, maybe we won't, but I'm going to ask. And I literally build everything for that promotion and everything, even the sponsorship packet, everything on my phone during lunch. And I was just like on Canva and I was just like, okay, I think I'll send it. And then, I didn't even share it with anyone. The problem was there were typos in it, but I didn't share it with anyone because I knew the minute I shared it with someone, they're going to start questioning it and they're going to start trying to stop me. And I was like, I'm not stopping because I know there's a need for it. And I am not going to any of these big conferences. And just like you said with the shoes, that's my biggest problem, that I don't get to attend these conferences. I don't get the benefit of networking. I don't get to do all these things. So I need something to connect with more people and actually share all this great value that's out there. And it was a lot of fun.
Cool concept. Sure. Yeah, it was. Thank you so much for organizing it. I hope there's...
Yes, there'll be much bigger one. We're working on it, so I'll definitely keep you posted as soon as we have more information. It's definitely online. Okay, I could tell this to the world. It's online. It's not in person yet, because that's the whole kind of upsell or value proposition of the whole thing, is to keep it more engaging and online. So, but yeah, super excited. Thank you so much again. That means so much to me that, you believed in our work even before we were able to know more about each other. But it's just, you have no idea when you push someone, even it doesn't have to do with the fact that how much money it is. It's just about the fact that, you believe in someone and you just say, okay, go ahead, do it. And we believe in you. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. I love your work, and I love your passion for supporting other women, and really keep up the amazing work. And I look forward to an amazing future together to collaborate moving forward.
And that was Anna with her amazing STEM story. Please use the links in the episode notes to follow Anna and her amazing work. Join us next week as we celebrate Black History Month with some amazing African American STEMinists. If you like our show, please subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you again next week. Bye.